What's good, toiletarians? It's your master, Toilet Terry here, coming to you tonight from Toilet's Ark, in the crevices of Cleveland, Tennessee, with Operation Let's Kill This Town with Laughter. Good evening, I'm your host, John Terry, and tonight's topic is, drumroll please, the worst nicknames you've been given. Well, for example, I knew this guy in high school, tall and lanky, puffy hair. If he stood next to Matt Damon, they'd look like the number 10. Anywho, for that, we all called him Q-Tip. Now, we all thought, we thought, man, if I were him, I'd be embarrassed. But was he embarrassed? Nope. He was perfectly fine with it. Perfectly fine. Now, I knew him since elementary school, and his real name was Q-Torius. I believe I mentioned Q-Torius in a previous episode I did. Let's face it though, would you rather be called Q-Torius, or would you rather be called Q-Tip? To be honest with y'all, I don't know what I'd rather be called if I was in his shoes. All the teachers called him Mr. Tall though, because he was so tall and so lanky. There's also this man I heard of recently whose name was Willie Fred Bailey. And for some reason, everyone called him Paddlefoot Bailey. What does that mean? I mean, there's so many nicknames I've heard throughout my lifetime. So far, I just don't know what they mean. It's so weird. Especially after you meet someone and they tell you they prefer a certain nickname. You know to call them that, but you don't even know what you're talking about when you address them. I'm going to list some examples of that I've heard, okay? Here it goes. Danger Noodle. Wednesday. Sounds like a middle child name if you ask me. Walking Wind. Monday. Sounds like someone who's grumpy in the morning all the time if you ask me. Or every morning when they wake up. Or who's a total drag. Let's see. Handle. Keyboard, Slinger. Yeah, those are just a few examples. So, my Nana one time, though, came up with a really weird nickname for herself that I still call her to this day. I still remember the day she came up with it. The nickname she came up with for herself was Oh Nano. She took us, my sister and I, one time to visit our cousin Ethan in Alabama. Sometime thereafter, though, her fourth husband, Jerry, found that in the guest room, the bed was not made. And, yeah, when they showed us the guest room, that it just wasn't very presentable for that reason. His next words were, "Ugh, I told that monster to make the bed and it didn't listen." My sister, who was 6 at the time, got scared. "Monster? What monster?" Jerry replies, "E-monster." We all like, "Who's that?" And he resoundingly was like, "Oh, you know, Ethan." And he was like, oh, okay. Ooh, what a relief, Annabelle. Anyway, yeah, the worst nickname I ever came across, though, was in the 7th grade. Since my name is John Terry, and I was known as that even then, because I would introduce myself to everyone like, "Hey, my name is John Terry," not just John or just Terry, John Terry. Since I was the smallest kid in my grade, and all the other boys wanted to come up with the most genius yet worst nicknames for the kids that struggled to fit in, and just to make fun of kids like me, yeah, get this, the best and brightest name they could come up with for me was John Titty. You see, I wasn't very bright back in the day. That was all because I had no desire to learn about anything. I just cared about going home, playing video games, yada 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 yada. So for that reason, I had no idea what titty meant. I was laughing at the dinner table that night telling my parents about this funny, quote-unquote funny, nickname I have now because I thought it was funny. When they right then heard me say John Titty, they nearly buked me. They had to explain to me that the other boys were making fun of me and what a titty was, which was awkward for me at the time. After that, I wish I'd kept my mouth shut about it in front of them because now I knew the other boys were basically calling me a girl. Now, at the time, I was skinny. I didn't even have man titties, so I don't know what business they had calling me that. But man, my mother, Gina Terry, whose maiden name is Grissom, yeah, Gina Grissom, explained to me that night also that she had a nickname much similar to mine when she was my age. You see, she got picked on too, just like I did. You know, that's where she could relate to me on so much of that. Whenever I would go to her and tell her I was being picked on and what was bothering me, she would always be the go-to. You see, because everyone, when she was my age, well, the age I was at the time, not now, called her Gina Gruesome. Now, I don't think that's funny now. I mean, if I could time travel, I'd go to the 80s and beat these terrible kids with a baseball bat and then shove it up their butts. Okay, you know what? That's a little bit graphic. Well, anyway, what I was going to say was up their butts, around the corner, through their tubes, and out there. Okay, I'm getting too vulgar. I need to stop, but... But back then, I tell you, I was so immature, I was there at the dinner table trying not to laugh when I heard Gina Gruesome. And I still feel bad about that to this day, because, yeah, that's not funny at all. And I know I probably shouldn't rub it in like that either. My mama never deserved that, you know. She's the most kind-hearted person on this planet that I know. Seriously, though, that proves that not all creativity serves a good purpose. It always serves a purpose, but not always a good one. Like, for example, John Titty, Gina Gruesome, that may be creative. Heck, well, I don't think it's creative, but some people may pass it on as creative. But does it serve a good purpose? No, not at all. I don't think so. Yeah, preach it, toilet. Or I mean, John. You know, creation was meant to serve all for a good purpose according to God's word and his will. And that right there is living proof that slander is one way the enemy perverts creation. Come on, somebody. Seriously, though. Nicknames, good or bad, I believe is just the same as calling someone by their birth name. Because all it is giving someone a name just the way your parents did when they gave you yours when you were, or before you were born. Just think. If you wanted to get it legally changed, you could. Or you can. The worst nicknames, though, are nicknames that teachers randomly give students. Without even asking if it's okay. In front of the whole class. At random. One instance like that can change your life and your reputation forever. I mean, seriously. I used to read this book called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, for example, and this kid named Cody, in one of the novels in the series, stepped in Dookie, and everyone called him Dookie. And it even got to the point where when he won Student of the Month or something, the principal came on the intercom and said, "Congratulations to Dookie Johnson for winning Student of the Month," or yada yada something. But anyway, that's just an example, and that's not even real life. I'm going to give a real life example now. I remember this kid in my 8th grade Spanish class who was really heavy set. And we had an ex-military for a substitute once in that class. This ex-military guy out of nowhere gets this guy's attention and says, "Yo, Big D." That's not even the first or worst nickname he had, though. In class one day, he was wearing a bright red hoodie. He was really heavy set, like I said, and he had a mohawk. Since it was Spanish class, we were supposed to do presentations on Spanish figures or something, and one student did a presentation on Dora the Explorer. And when he brought up this episode, I'm pretty sure most of y'all know because you have kids who, or maybe you grew up with the show, this episode called The Big Red Chicken. Everyone then laughed because, like I said, this guy was wearing a red hoodie, was really big, and he had a mohawk, just like a big red chicken. And from that day forward, everyone, every time he wore a big red hoodie to class, referred to him as a big red chicken. You see, that's why you got to be careful how you style when you go to school. Like, and that includes what kind of haircut you get, what kind of hairstyle you have, what kind of clothes that you wear, anything. Because I even knew of this guy, I'm not going to lie, who one time he got a haircut and everyone said it looked like a mushroom. And every time he would walk into class, until his hair didn't look like a mushroom anymore, everybody would sing the Mario theme song. Because you know that game has all those little mushroom characters. And yeah, I know that's bullying and that's not cool, but anyway. Anyway, I'm John Terry. Tune in on Thursday for the next episode in the PM at 9/8 Central. It is going to be lit. You do not want to miss it. All right, folks, keep it real out there. Peace, deuces. Toilet is out the ark.